Hello everyone, this is your energy report for November the 1st, 2013. And I am my name is Rashana, and I connect with trees, and I also channel the Council of Nine. So in my energy reports I like to put the two together. So we're kind of getting a very earthy feel this time from the trees of what the energy will be for November, and a different perspective from the Council of Nine. So it was interesting to see this. Usually it's a tree that calls herself Henrietta that I'm connecting with. There's also another tree that calls itself Georges en français, and I connected with both those trees this time to see what they had to share, and then connected with the Council of Nine. And I'll just leave it till the end of this energy report for you to see how the Council of Nine have balanced this out. So we're at the very end of the year, of course, in the month of November, so the energies of 2014 are starting to creep in a bit, or starting to show themselves a bit for what's happening. So when I connected with Georges, he said that there is going to be much more clarity for many people in the month of November, and that we're going to feel hope again in the month of November. So 2013 I don't think was the year that many of us thought it may be, as far as anticipating the newness after going through the precession of the equinoxes on December 21st, 2012, and expecting that there may be a great change on the other side of that. What it really felt like this year is more of, I guess, what could often be the energy of a 1 year is just starting to get a foundation for new things, and anyway, things weren't shifting as quickly perhaps as some of us thought that they might, into this new earth, this new expression of what we're moving into. And Georges says that we are starting to feel 2014, it's the second year of this new cycle. So 2013 was the first year after this end of the last precession of the equinoxes, and so we're stepping into this whole new 26,000 year cycle, and so we really are at the very foundation of a new beginning. Pardon me. And so a 2 means that things are going to start pairing up. So perhaps there will be more business relationships pairing up, maybe more romantic relationships pairing up, and he even said that it will be a pairing in the sense that our desires are going to find themselves into manifestation. So it's our dreams connecting with reality and bringing them into fruition in our lives. And that, in a way, is a pairing up, a coming together of two things. We create the dream in our mind, and then we see it show up in our life. He also said that storms are brewing as truth is revealed. So people no longer are willing to tolerate the lies, and corruption is falling away because the energy is not here to support it anymore. So we are seeing that in the world, that more and more people are rising up against what they know is no longer truth, or things that they are no longer willing to tolerate. Some of it is related to the earth and how we've been disrespecting the earth, and so people are commanding change around that. And some of it is the corruption is simply falling away, because as more and more people are rising into the energy of love, this new creation, and not connecting with the energy of fear and connecting with the energy of the corruption, that it's falling away because people just aren't engaging in that anymore. So people are believing in creating a new way and envisioning the new world that they choose to see. So then the corruption's falling away because there aren't as many people who are actually connecting with that energy anymore. So that's a beautiful thing to see. And when I connected with Henrietta, she said, again, to repeat what Georges said, is that there is much turmoil because corruption is surfacing. So the truth is being revealed. Don't get caught up in it. Be witness, but not angry. So as we see all these truths coming to the surface, to not allow ourselves to get angry about what it is that we're discovering. It's been there forever, but to simply be witness to it, so that we're not going to allow it in our lives anymore, but we're not changing it through anger. We're changing it in a different way. To be joyful because it's being released and cleared. So the more we see the truth coming forward, and maybe corruption is being revealed, but it's actually something to be happy about because it is being revealed, and once it's revealed, it can't exist anymore. It's like people aren't going to tolerate it, and it can't remain hidden once it's been revealed. So it's actually seeing something good that's happening in the world, and the more we can relate to it from that perspective, the more we're bringing that energy of change and knowing that a new truth is available to us. So it doesn't mean that you aren't strong enough to stand up against issues, but that you do it from a place of power and not anger. And by power, she really means standing firm in who you are, knowing what you're willing to tolerate in your life and what you're not. So power can mean that people are rising up against the untruths and trying to change the world, but not from a place of anger, but a place of commanding that things change, which is more of an internal power place to respond to the world. Power is loving yourself enough to have healthy boundaries and choosing life experiences that support you in a loving way. So if we get angry, we're just connecting with that energy that we're trying to dissolve in the world. So if we can stand in our own power and come from a place of loving the self, and this is in our daily experiences, the more that we honor ourselves in our daily experiences and set up boundaries so that perhaps people who weren't respectful to us before were no longer willing to tolerate that. This is how change comes about with each one of us as individuals, claiming our own truth, walking in our own truth, and knowing very firmly what we are willing to allow into our lives and what we're not. So having very clear boundaries about what's acceptable and what is not, then the more we're creating that energy into the world. Anger is fire, and it can get out of control and be destructive. And we know that from how we feel in our bodies. When we get angry, we heat up, we flare up, our face turns red, our breath increases. So that's the fire within us, and if we then express that out into the world, we're putting that energy of fire into the world, which isn't going to support our transformation into moving into a more loving world, a more truthful and honest world, and a place where we can feel respected and honored. Those who have been choosing love and responding from love will start to see their lives get easier and easier. So the more we do this, the more we're going to see love in the world. So the more we honor ourselves and respect ourselves enough to only allow loving experiences to be in our expression, then we're putting more love out into the world, and the more of us doing that, then we're going to see the world shift and change into that energy of love. So Henrietta says 2014 will start to bring in the rewards that people so deserve. So the ones who have been doing their healing work and moving into the place of loving the self and recognizing the patterns that it was time to let go of and letting them go, then we are going to start to see the rewards of that. People who are holding on to anger because we're creating very quickly in these times are going to see more reasons to be angry in their lives. So that's the reason for us to really move into healing the self, loving the self, so that we can have more of that expression of love in our lives. So that was the report from the two trees that I connect with. And then I connected with the Council of Nine. So I'll just share their perspective with you. They say that November is going to be a month of change, transformation, growth, and expansion. Uprisal will continue, so that's the same as what the trees had reported. And that people will no longer tolerate the lies, so we're not willing to be duped by our governments anymore, or by corrupt organizations, or by organizations that have been given so much power, that we are going to stand up against that because we're claiming our own truth. We could use food as one example of that, that people are no longer willing to allow the earth to be corrupted and allow our food to be corrupted so much that we are standing up against the companies that do that. It is all becoming more transparent. which I think we are beginning to see in the world. Companies that perhaps our governments would have given power to before, now it's starting to come to the surface and people are starting to see what's happening, and they're bringing it into the public arena so that people can then put their voices together and make change. So it's happening very much on a social level, which is really beautiful to see it unfolding. So even as individuals, we can influence this, which will come more to awareness at the end of this part. People can see through the politics and will bring things into the light. So that's part of the lies no longer being hidden. The truth is coming to the surface. Those willing to see the truth are walking more in their own power, and that is how change happens. The greatest change is when the majority are walking strong in their own truth, no longer willing to let the lies be a part of their reality, no longer willing to engage any thoughts in the corruption. So what they're saying is individually, each one of us is making a change, because if we're only willing to see beauty in our life, if we're only willing to see positive experiences in our life, or to stand in our own power and use our own choices, perhaps by boycotting certain foods or choosing more consciously where we purchase our goods, then in that way we are in our very gentle way changing the world. But it's also by what we choose to see in our own lives. If we look at situations without being angry, but simply deciding that that's not my awareness is something else, we are then changing the world, because our reality is not connected to the corruption. It can be hard to understand this concept. Those who see above it and make their reality something different are the ones who are really causing the old to fall. So we are creating our reality every day with our belief system. And if our belief system is that we deserve love, and everything that comes into our life experience is love, and everything that we feel is not love, we are going to honor ourselves and express what we're feeling about that, or walk away from it and choose a different experience. The more we do that, simply living that way, then the old system can no longer have its foundation and stay there, because we're choosing to live our life experience outside of that old system. And that's the biggest way that it can change. So what the trees brought forward, I think, was a very earthy way of relating to what this energy is. And this perspective from the Council of Nine is a higher perspective, you could say, of more of what we're moving into. People are not changing the world by rising up against it. They're doing that by seeing something else and living something else, to the point that the old no longer exists in their reality, and therefore it begins to fall away. Now, my understanding of this is not that you can't see the old system anymore, that you don't know it's there. It's like you still know it's there, but you're just not making it your reality. You're not engaging in it. So you're aware that there is some other system that exists there, but in your focus and in your everyday creation, you're engaging in something else. You're engaging in an experience that comes from love and brings you joy and happiness and prosperity. So it's just not connecting with that old system. This is a beautiful way for transformation to take place, for it does not require any battle. Much the opposite, it disengages from any reality that would include any battle. Instead, it dissolves the old way by creating the new. So that's the opportunity that lies before us all now, is to just not even engage in the old and create our own new, whatever it is we are desiring in our lives, to just believe that's possible, to have eyes that see that which we desire. So be conscious of where you place your focus, because what you're focusing on is what you're bringing into your life experience. And also to be aware of your belief system. That's really important. Whatever you're seeing in your life experience is an expression of your belief system. So if you don't like what you see, then have a look at your belief system and where that came from. And of course, the most natural place to look is in your childhood. So what were your parents' beliefs about love? How did they love each other? What was their belief about financial support? What were their thoughts about having money? All of these things, the more you look at that, the more you will bring to the surface the hidden beliefs that are impacting your life, and then you can change it into that which you're choosing. Those who would live a new vision are those who have risen above the clouds, so to speak, and are surrounded by light. It is beautiful to witness, and it is happening now. So it's very interesting that these are just different perspectives from the ground kind of thing and from above the clouds in the light. And I know I can feel great change happening in this world just with things like Monsanto and some of the bills that were almost passed, but it didn't happen, that would have given them more power. So those things not happening, I could just feel that it was coming from the energy of enough people just not willing to believe in that as part of their reality. Then there was no foundation for it to happen anymore. So this is the energy for November, which is pretty powerful, and I feel that it's probably a preparation for 2014, that this is more and more of what's going to awaken in 2014, and that's why they're bringing it up now, and we're starting to see the potential of this in this month of November. So it's very exciting, and I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you enjoy moving into that fullness of seeing everything that you desire to have in your life and making that your attention and making that your focus. And if you would like to learn more about me, there's a link to my website below. There's a free book on my site. There's free webinars for you to listen to where I do some clearing work, and there's channelings there. So I welcome you to check it out and explore. And if you've enjoyed this message, please like and feel free to share. Thanks for being here.